Good afternoon. My name is Linda Netzer, and I am with Applied Software. I am our Education Account Advisor. I'd like to welcome you to our session today, Autodesk and Higher Education Institutions, What You Need to Know About Licensing in BIM, and I hope you can see my screen. There aren't a whole lot of people on the webinar today, so we would love to entertain questions as we are proceeding. So go ahead and put those in the chat box. My colleague David Moore is on the webinar, and he will interrupt me or wait until I have a break, and then we'll ask your questions. I really appreciate your time today, and I will keep it very brief. And I definitely would be happy to talk with you offline about your licensing situation at your institution. And you see my contact information there. Please write it down. Contact me if you've got any questions. A little bit about Applied Software. We are an authorized education partner. We were founded in 1982, and we're one of the largest Autodesk resellers in the United States. And if I may tell you, we were reseller of the quarter last quarter, so we're very proud of our success. Part of that reason is we have been working with educational institutions all over the United States for the last 10 or so months, as Autodesk has been making some big changes. Our application specialists and our technical staff are just like you. They're architects, professional engineers, project managers, and designers. And our training and mentoring consulting services are reflective of real-world experiences. We are an authorized training center, so you can come talk to us about different kinds of professional training from fundamentals to mastery level. We are a Platinum Partner with Autodesk, which we provide our customers with best-in-class full-service solutions, and we look forward to working with you. Today I'm going to just cover lightly building information modeling. Most people have heard about this who are in this business, but I want to be sure that you understand a little bit about it. So this next set of slides will be pretty brief. It's all about the I in BIM. It's about the information. And here you'll see on the right-hand side, you'll see that BIM is an intelligent 3D model-based process. And BIM provides for insight for creating and managing projects faster, more economically, and with less environmental impact. And on the left, you'll see what BIM is not. BIM is not 3D. BIM is not data. BIM is not 3D plus data. And BIM is not software. BIM is a process. So a lot of my institutions ask me, well, it sounds great, Linda, but why should we do it? Well, when you're working in a BIM project, whether it's small or large, you're going to have an information-rich single source of information. So it's simplified. You're going to have improved design quality, which means less rework in the field. That's money in your pocket. Improved field productivity, reduced conflicts and associated changes, and reduced construction costs and duration. These are all things that benefit your institution. And on the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see a couple of the ways that you can utilize BIM in your institution. We're going to talk a little bit more about change at once, design coordination, enhanced design processes, strategic modeling, design options, and analysis. So on the right-hand side, you'll see a couple of images from Autodesk's BIM software, which provides some excellent analysis tools. You also have access to rendering, access to multiple design options that really make your project smoother. Your construction documents, your conceptual design, your programming projects are all going to be smoother by utilizing BIM. So I mentioned this before, and this is change at once, and this is really the heart of the matter. This is where the big time saver is. One project, one update, geometry changes the data, and data changes geometry. You can see on this little chart, if you make a change in the plan, then the elevation sections in 3D views and schedules move along with it. The same thing if you change anything else. Here's another visual representation of that. This is what your screen will look like in Autodesk Revit, where you can see you have the 3D model in the bottom right-hand corner and the schedule at the top and your details and your 2D floor plans. And everywhere you make a change, that change is reflected. This is a huge time saver, and this really cleans up errors very easily. So here's another thing that my institutional customers are really interested in is design coordination and being able to understand your project and being able to collaborate with your structural engineers, MEP professionals, and your architects. This is where the pedal hits the metal, as they say. So it sounds great, right? What's the value? This information, that I and BIM, can be leveraged throughout the building life cycle. And here's where there's some challenges. BIM processes are a change in workflow, but the result is that decisions that are made earlier in the design process cost less time and money than decisions made later. Utilizing 3D modeling can move project stakeholders to commit faster. Everybody wants this. Everybody wants the boss to sign off faster. If they can understand it, this is where the value is. And just drilling down a little bit, we've got some facilities managers on the phone, and I wanted to be sure to address your issues. You know, as we said before, BIM is a process. Autodesk provides the authoring tools, but as a facilities manager, you do not need to be an expert in CAD or 3D modeling. It's about the collaboration. And we have some programs where we can help you work on that. BIM is about managing the facilities management data and virtual construction. So again, making decisions earlier in the process, so when you're managing these facilities after handoff, you've got that data. So it's not really about more work, it's about smarter working. One of the things we found in facilities management is that all types of projects, from housing to hospitals, BIM is incredibly useful. Small and large projects, doesn't matter, BIM will become the standard. BIM allows facilities management to focus on post-occupancy evaluations. Facilities management will need to be able to support the collection and interpretation and analysis of that data. And so you are going to need some new skills. You don't need to be an expert, as I said at the top, but you're going to need greater efforts on the front end of project development, and we can help you figure all of that out. So a lot of my customers ask me, you know, okay, it's a great idea. I like BIM. I like the idea of utilizing this information, of leveraging this, and being able to speed the process up. So how do you get started? Well, one of the very first steps you want to do is to develop some internal BIM standards. And here at Applied Software, we can help you streamline the planning of execution, new buildings, renovations, and space planning. And we can help you develop a BIM execution plan for all types of projects. And we can also help you develop institution-wide planning. So we can do it small or large. We can scale it to the size of your institution. And one of the great things about working with Applied Software is you've got big client activity that can be scaled to smaller clients. So we look forward to sharing that experience with you. Here's another way you can utilize BIM and start increasing your proficiency. Some of the CAD tasks that you do very regularly where you're using spreadsheets, utilizing BIM is going to grab all that data and populate those fields automatically. That's a big area. And professional training, using Applied Software's online, in-person, or on-demand training options. It's a great way to get started. And a little bit of a shameless plug about Applied Software. You know, as I said before, we understand how to work with educational institutions, and we can help you navigate common pitfalls. As I mentioned before, we're a Platinum Partner, and we've got access to GSA schedules. So if you're a public institution, you can get government pricing, which is better than commercial. We offer free assistance throughout the process of getting installed, and we will provide you with lots of information about best practices. And we're part of a unique program with Autodesk to help our customers analyze and evaluate your Autodesk software usage across numerous workstations. I'm going to talk about this in another slide. And of course, world-class customer service and care throughout the process. Now, I was talking about this exclusive program. It's called the Software Asset Management, or SAM program, and Chris Munson is our Autodesk rep. And one of the things that this does, I'm just going to talk about this real briefly, but if you're interested in this product, in this program, it is free, and we are part of a pilot program. We're encouraging all of our customers, and even not our customers, to contact us about using the Autodesk special tools to manage your licensure on your computers. Obviously, it's going to help you make your planning, your purchase planning and your license management more smooth. It's going to help you effectively track and document your software licenses, which will help you reduce risks of license compliance problems. And of course, it's going to help you save money, because we're going to find out where the licenses are, who is using them, how they are using them, and you know, help you guys save money and economize any purchase that you do make. And there's a whole support program that's connected with SAM. So I'd be happy to talk with you a little bit more about SAM and get you in touch with Chris Munson and get you enrolled in that program. And as I said, using the Autodesk tools are free, and it's a great way to manage your software license usage. All right, so now we're going to get into the meat of the matter here. What has changed at Autodesk over the last year? Autodesk has made a donation of the entire portfolio of design and engineering products. They are now free for academic use, but it is no longer free for other uses, including facilities management, housing, physical plant, transportation, and some research. So we here at Applied Software, we have some tools to help you determine the best plan for moving forward. Now, if you're one of the folks that are on this webinar and you think you qualify for academic use, very easy to find out. And I put down the website here, autodesk.com/education. Go ahead and get on that website and see if you qualify for free licenses. So again, not only academic use. So if you're a teacher or a student and you want to use Autodesk software in your programs, please go ahead and do so for free. The next couple slides that we're going to talk about are you know what, I'm going to just stop right here before we go on. Dave, are there any additional questions?
No, not at this time.
Great. Okay. Super. Well, definitely put them in the chat box if you've got any. We're happy to entertain them as we're going along here. The next few slides are going to be the process that we have here at Applied Software on how we help our institutions specifically on determining what licenses they need. So the very first thing is we're going to survey your users, and this screenshot up here is the results of some of the surveys that we've already done. So many of you in your facilities management departments and other departments are using education licenses, and as I mentioned, Autodesk has made a change in their policies, and those education licenses are going to be a problem. So let's figure out who's using what and how they're using it and how long they use it per day. And that's how we're going to help you economize this decision. Our customers ask, okay, well, yes, we think we might need some Autodesk products in our department, and it's very educational to understand how to buy these products. So there's two ways. The first way is the desktop subscription, and this is a new program with Autodesk, and they are pay-as-you-go term licenses. These desktop subscriptions only come in standalone versions and must have a named user, which means that they have one user to one license. They come in 3-month and annual terms, and if at the end of your contract you do not make payment, the software stops working. The second way is the classic way of buying Autodesk software, and has been this way for about almost 30 years, is a perpetual license plus maintenance subscription. Perpetual licenses come in two flavors, standalone and network. A network license can be shared among users who are not using the software all day, every day. So the perpetual license, the standalone license, is one license per one user. The network license can be shared among a number of users, but not at the same time. And it's important to note that if you choose a perpetual standalone license, it can be made into a network license for a fee at any time after purchase. So that's just an option for you. The maintenance subscription can be in 1-, 2-, or 3-year contracts. And the important thing to understand about perpetual licenses is that if it is not on maintenance subscription, it will still work. However, it will have no value and cannot be upgraded to the next version or cross-graded to another product. In other words, maintenance subscription allows your perpetual license to maintain its value through the automatic updates it provides. We're going to talk a little bit more about automatic updates. So many of my institutional customers are asking me, what products are typical, and we have a large suite, a large portfolio of products with Autodesk, but I wanted to identify the two titles that are typical titles that our institutions are interested in. On the left-hand side of your screen, you're going to see the Building Design Suite, and that comes in 3 flavors: the Standard, the Premium, and the Ultimate. And you'll notice that in red, I've highlighted the key piece of software that's in each one. So they build upon it. So in the Standard, you've got AutoCAD. In the Premium, you've got AutoCAD plus Revit. And in this Ultimate, you've got AutoCAD plus Revit plus Manage, Navisworks Manage. And on the right-hand side of your screen, you'll see the Infrastructure group. And this is primarily for your GIS group, your transportation group, and your site planning organizations for your institution. And again, Standard, Premium, and Ultimate. And I put the titles in red. And again, they build on each other. The Ultimate has all of the titles. All right, so I mentioned this before, I kind of alluded to this, but I wanted to talk to you and make sure that you're on board and understand how Autodesk is changing. What they're doing is they are moving away. We talked about the perpetual licenses and the desktop subscription. So they're moving away from the perpetual licenses. So if you buy perpetual licenses are still available today, and we're going to talk about this a little bit more. But if you purchase perpetual licenses today and you wait until 2017 to buy additional licenses, you will only be allowed to buy the desktop subscription. If you buy perpetual licenses today on a contract, your contract will be renewed when the time comes. And our recommendation for navigating these changes in higher education is we are recommending purchasing additional perpetual suites for as long as you can to head off these pricing increases. So here's the benefit. So if you buy a perpetual license and you buy the maintenance subscription along with it, you're going to get automatic upgrades. You're going to get the next version of the software included in your subscription. This allows for predictable budgeting. You also have access to previous versions, and you'll have home use, extended territory rights, and very interestingly, Autodesk subscription provides you with some excellent cloud services and analysis tools. One of them is cloud rendering, so that means that you can render your projects in the cloud and not use your local resources. So that's really exciting. Do some energy analysis, some structural analysis, and you even have some cloud storage. Now here's the other side of the story, is the desktop subscription, the pay-as-you-go. We're going to talk about the advantages and the disadvantages. So every institution is different, so you've got to look at your own situation to help you determine what the right choice is, and this is where we can help you. So the advantages is buy and pay only for what you need and get rid of licenses you don't need. So as your needs change at your institution, you can get rid of it. There are multi-year contracts available, which sort of makes the first advantage go away because you're kind of stuck with it at that point. And actively managing and monitoring your license use is ultimately where the savings is. And what pay-as-you-go does is it moves your Autodesk purchases into an operating expense rather than a capital expense. And we've seen some of our customers pass off the value, the price of desktop subscription onto their projects, so you can more effectively manage your products. So the disadvantages is if you're expecting a steady business outlook. So if your departments have been using your Autodesk tools the same way for a lot of years, and you expect in the next few years they're probably going to be using it the same way, then the perpetual licenses are the way to go, because this desktop subscription does have overall higher long-term pricing. The other problem that we're seeing a lot, and this is a big thing in institutions, is that there's no network activation. It is one user per one license. And so, not every user uses it all day, every day, and so that's kind of a disadvantage on the sharing side. You do have restricted previous version access, and as I said, this is an advantage and a disadvantage. Your named users must be managed. So that's kind of where the trick is. So going back to talk a little bit more, I'm going to stop right there. David, are there any questions so far?
No questions at all.
All right, good. Well, I must be covering it then, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Okay. All right, going on. So going back to talk about this perpetual model with the subscription, as an incentive to move customers to the pay-as-you-go model, Autodesk will be raising prices of the annual subscription every year. Past history shows us that it goes up about 5% every year. And so if you're considering the perpetual model, we recommend that you consider a 3-year subscription contract to head off these prices. So again, if you have a steady business outlook, you're expecting people to keep things the same way, then go ahead and consider a 3-year maintenance subscription contract. Now, we do offer a 5% discount through Friday. I wanted to stick that in there. If there's something that you need to do and you want to do it right away, definitely call me right after this webinar and we'll see what we can do to get you that 5% discount. And finally, this is my last slide. I wanted to talk about public institutions and how we work with DLT Solutions. And a couple of those guys are on our webinar today. Thank you for joining us. DLT Solutions is the master government reseller for Autodesk and has been for 14 years. And you see their contract number here. We work very closely with them and our public institutions, and we're able to provide you with GSA government pricing. And so that is really everything I've got to share with you. And that's it. So again, you see my you see my contact information there. I'm hoping to hear from you after the session. And I will take a brief break here and ask Dave if there are any additional questions.
None. We'll always take questions offline. You can email either one of us.
Absolutely.
No questions right now.
So we really appreciate you all taking the time, and I hope that you've learned a little bit more about how Autodesk software is purchased and how it is being applied. I'd be happy to talk with you more about BIM at a later date or more about licensing changes.